feel free to rewatch this video or come by tomorrow, Fridays 1 to 4, and we can set up your account and get you going on that. So let's jump right in. Feel free to ask questions too in the chat, or if you want to unmute yourself, I'll be happy to answer those throughout our time together. So let's try this out. And Hernan, is the screen showing the full PowerPoint, or is it half? Like,
actually, it's a little bit cut off. So maybe if you could shrink it a little bit.
Let me try this.
Yeah, it was a little portion of it was cut off. There we go. Okay. Yeah.
It's showing the full screen?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Can everybody else see the full screen?
Yeah, looks good.
All right.
All right. Thanks for confirming that. So as Hernan mentioned, we have a busy week next week for the Career Center. We have 3 career fairs. I wanted to make you aware of all 3 in case you want to check out the other 2. But in terms of relevance to the engineering majors, the one on Wednesday, it's the one more related to your majors. But like I said, all 3 events are open to all students. So if you want to follow the steps that I recommend you to research the companies for the STEAM conference, the STEAM career fair, feel free to use the same steps. Maybe there's an employer in the public service, career fair, or in the business career fair that you want to check out, right? So you're invited to all 3. Don't feel like you could only attend the Wednesday one. Now, where exactly is this going to take place? We're really, excited that we can host these events on campus rather than a virtual setting. So let me show you a quick map just as a reference where the North Gym 118, building is. So this is a quick map of Fresno State. Just to kind of get you situated. East Engineering is right here. Engineering West, that's where I believe most of your engineering classes take place. So if you make your way past Engineering West, you're going to come across the North Gym building. In the south side of the building, there is a big auditorium space. That's what we call North Gym 118. A good point of reference is the roundabout close to the gyms or the Henry Mann Library. So if you make your way to this side, you'll see a signage on telling you where the entrance is, where to check in, and participate in this career and internship fairs happening next week. So I wanted to give you a point of reference to tell you where this is happening. So coming back to the presentation, I have a really great announcement, and this information will make its way to your email later on today. But Macy's was gracious enough to give us some gift cards. So I'll show you steps on how to register for the career fairs. Just by signing up, your name will be entered into a raffle. But if you attend the career fairs, your name will be entered a few additional times. So here's a little breakdown of the types of gifts we're going to give away. And this is all with the intent of helping you build your professional attire. So your clothes that you likely wear to interviews or to your future jobs or internships. So here's a little breakdown of the prices. So we have a few $100 gift cards and even some $200 gift cards. So if you want to get your name in there for this exciting raffle, I'll show you how to do that. But, please attend these fairs, not only to learn about companies and opportunities, but, maybe you walk out of there with a nice gift card. So let's continue. Now, how to make a career and internship fair work for you. It doesn't magically happen just by showing up, right? So I want to give you some tips, some strategies, and best practices to maximize the time that you do spend. Although these events are from 12 to 4 p.m. on each of the days, it doesn't mean that you have to be there for 4 hours, right? And maybe you have an hour in between classes and you want to maximize that hour. So I want to help you, make the most of the career fair with the time that you do have to be there. And some of it begins with preparing for it. Also introducing yourself. What do you say when you approach the table? When you start speaking to the recruiter? What kind of questions should you ask? What kind of questions should you not ask? And what is this thing called follow-up? What kind of message or email can you send to the recruiter after the event to reconnect and maybe follow up on the conversation you had with them, right? So I want to give you some advice on how to do all this. So number 1, prepare strategically. The STEAM career fair specifically, there's 49 employers that are going to be attending. So you probably could not speak to every single one of them unless you spend the 4 hours at the event, right? Some of you may not have that luxury. So I want to help you look at who's coming, maybe make a game plan of the 5 top 10 companies you want to approach. And when you show up to the day of the career fair, we'll have a map and tell you exactly where everybody is, but at least you know the names, right? So in order to do that, you're going to have to make your way to Higher Fresno State. once you log into your My Fresno State portal, you're going to see a top drop-down menu. It usually says home, but if you click it, you should see campus systems. So that's what you will select, and then you're going to see Higher Fresno State appear on your screen. If you've never done this before, it's going to ask you to create a profile or an account through Higher Fresno State. It's a two-step process. It's not going to take you more than 3 minutes. Put your name, your information. It's going to ask you about your major, are you in school? And just worry about the fields that have a little red asterisk. You don't have to fill every single section, and then complete it. It is going to ask you to upload a resume. So if you already have one, upload it. If you don't have one, feel free to stop by Fridays 1 to 4, and we can give you feedback on your resume to have a resume on file. But it will ask you to do that. And once you complete that step, give us about 48 hours for us to approve your account, so you have full access to your profile. But just the fact that you create it, you're going to be able to see some of the things I'm going to show you next. So once you make your way to Higher Fresno State, it's going to look like this. You go ahead. This is the Higher Fresno State dashboard. So once you're in the system, you should be able to see events, then company events. And here you're going to see the 3 career fairs happening next week. So I'm going to click on the STEAM one. And once we're here, by clicking, let me go ahead and remove it so you see the actual button. By clicking sign up, this is how you actually register for the event. So just by doing that, you can be entered into that Macy's gift card raffle. Then by attending, you get your name admitted into the raffle a few more times. So once you register to attend, now you can begin exploring the companies that are registered to recruit at the at the career and internship fair. They are a total of 49 for this specific one, and they're organized alphabetically. So you can just scroll down and see the different tiles. If you get to the bottom and you don't see any more, just scroll down a little more and the system will then continue showing these. Just for purposes of demonstration, let me pull up Mark Thomas. So I'm going to click here. Here you're going to get to see the organization name again, a description of the company. Also, some of them have uploaded their website, and this is when you start doing some of the research on the companies. Also, you're going to see some information about what type of opportunities they're looking for, how many openings or who's attending, what type of level of education they're trying to recruit, and if they have a very specific engineering major they're recruiting for. Also, if they're expecting to have future openings. So this can give you a quick overview of what the recruiter is going to be talking about on their table. Once you see if this is a company that aligns with your major or your interest, I highly encourage you to look at their website and begin doing some of this research on the company. I know we had a conversation about this for the Industry Expo, but I encourage you all to, if you see a company that is recruiting your major, spend 5 to 10 minutes on their website, see their projects, scroll down to their news, see if they have some job openings that you can tailor your resume to. Learn about their history, what kind of services or what makes them different than other companies. Where are they located? Some of them are not based out of Fresno, but they have projects in Fresno. So I think it's important for you to become familiar with their line of work. An additional thing that you can do is grab the name of the company, make your way to LinkedIn, and see if you can find some information about the company through LinkedIn. So I'm going to click on companies, and here they are. So just by doing that, and let me go back a bit, it looks like we have three alumni work for this company already, and currently they have 13 job openings. So if you want to see who works there, you can also do that. If you want to click on the company, similar to their website, they have an about section. You can see the post. This is a great way to see what's happening currently with the company. They have a recent award or some cool things are happening within the organization. And you can also click on people, and this could be a chance for you to see, maybe find the recruiters there or find those alumni that are from Fresno State. So here I get to see some alumni from Fresno State working for them. So that's just a quick, advice on how to look at the companies, I encourage you to make your own list out of this and really pay attention to who's recruiting for full-time jobs, who's recruiting for internships, and then customize your game plan based out of this list when you show up. This could also give you a sense of how many resumes to print out. If you see 10 companies that are recruiting mechanical engineers, maybe print 10 plus resumes, and that way you have enough for the tables that you're going to visit. Okay. Any questions so far on Hire Fresno State or how to navigate it? Keeping an eye on the chat. Feel free to type your question or unmute yourself. I'll explore one more if anybody has a question or is typing. Once again, you'll see the name of the positions, what specific majors are recruiting for, and some information about those opportunities they're trying to fill in. Okay, so another cool feature, in case there's no questions, is once you make your way to the actual event, you can also use this button here called export. By clicking export, you can kind of see I did it right before the workshop. It's going to download a full-on spreadsheet of this information. So let me bring this over here. And what you can do is, clean this up a bit and really break down of the name of the company and, do from here, you can organize the files a little better. I did some kind of cleaning on this on another spreadsheet. And here you can really break down, what exactly positions they're recruiting for, and an easier way to see the name of the positions. So just by being in attendance, I will share this cleaned up version of the spreadsheet to Hernan, and he'll share it to all the participants because he has your emails. And maybe this is another way to narrow down that list and make your life a little easier. Like you see the different names of the position titles. And if you do Control F or Command F, if you're on a Mac, you can put mechanical. And this is going to look at the majors column and show you which companies are recruiting for mechanical engineering. All right, so here's a cool tool just by being in attendance today. Okay, coming back to our presentation. Okay, another part of preparing, besides knowing who's coming, what kind of positions they're recruiting for, name of the company, doing research on the company, is your first impression. So dressing up for the occasion is super important for these events. The professionals you're going to be speaking to may be an engineer from the company, or it may just be the recruiter or someone that works in the processing, the onboarding team. So a lot of the time, these are the folks that are going to review your resume. They're the ones that are going to interview you for the initial interview interaction. So making that first impression with them can, maybe help you get to the actual, panel or the hiring managers once you get through them. So it's really important to present yourself in the best way possible. And some of it is with what you wear. So with that being said, you are going to be walking quite a bit. So keep that in mind. It is an indoor event, thankfully. So if you want to wear a jacket, you can, and the AC is going to be on. So I do want to mention that. But if you start looking at your closet and you realize, man, I need to, I need a new shirt, or I don't have a jacket, or the slacks that I have, don't quite fit how they used to, or I need some new clothes. Maybe you want to explore or take advantage of our clothing closet before you make your way to Macy's, JCPenney, or Ross Marshall. Save a couple of bucks. So at the Career Center, we do have a professional clothing closet, and right now it's full of clothes. We have a lot of donations that came during the pandemic, so we have more than what we like. So feel free to come on down to the Career Building. We're located in the Frank W. Thomas, room 103. I'll bring up the map in a second. But from 9 to 4 p.m., that's when we have some student assistants available, and they can help you find something based on your size. If you don't know your size in clothing, we can also help you figure that out. We have students that are trained to help you figure out your measurements and help you narrow down the options that we have available. And these are professional clothing items that you can literally, if they fit, they're for you to take. Right now, we're limiting it to 3 professional clothing items per student per academic semester, and 3 clothing accessories that you can add on, like shoes, belts, ties, some of these more non-clothing items. So I encourage all of you, if you have some time tomorrow or Monday, even Tuesday before you show up to the career fairs, make your way to the Career Center and see if you find something that fits and it's for you to keep. So once again, just to give you a point of reference, if you know where the fountain is next to the Kennel Bookstore, we are located in the Frank W. Thomas right here. You can come in through the front of the building and we are located in room 103, this corner side of the building. So that's where we have the clothing closet available for you. So yeah, make your way and take advantage of that. Now, besides knowing who to talk to, dressing up your best, how are you going to introduce yourself? Number one, keep it brief. This is going to be a dialogue with the recruiters, but you definitely want to mention your goals. You want to mention your name. You want to mention what year in school you're in and what you're looking for. Are you looking for an internship or are you looking for a full-time job? Have your resume ready. And if you need some help, once again, Fridays 1 to 4, I am next to Hernan's office and can give you some feedback to make your resume look more professional, or feedback to, get it back to one page if needed. But you want to have something that you can actually hand out to them. And you want to practice what you're actually going to say. So I'll give you a perfect example of this. So my name is J. Daniel Gomez. I prefer to be called Daniel, my middle name, and I am a career advisor at the Career Development Center. So that's just my quick introduction of my name, who I am, where I work. An example of a student introduction could be, hi, I'm J. Daniel Gomez. I am a senior civil engineer student, and I'm currently looking for internships either for the spring semester or summer 2022. And I'm someone that is part of a student organization here on campus, and I have done a variety of projects that kind of relate with what your company focuses, such as some water research management projects and some structural projects that I feel have given me a good background on being a good addition for the internships that you offer. So based on the knowledge you have on the companies, maybe you can bring up being part of different organizations on campus or some of the projects that you've done. So there's just some tips that I like to mention to students because it's important. They're trying to see if you can communicate clearly. So you definitely want to practice your introduction. So let's see, I have a question. If your resume is 2 pages, is it advisable to print out front and back or make it 2 separate pages? I would personally recommend that you do 2 separate pages and maybe staple it. That way they don't think it's just a 1 pager, they don't see the backside. That's what I recommend for this event. All right, asking questions to them. It's not just you speaking for a full 2 minutes by yourself and they don't get a chance to say a word. You're trying to spark up a dialogue. So the research that you do ahead of time is going to help you maybe ask some questions or be more interested in the companies that you do approach. Now, there are some questions that you probably want to avoid, such as what does your company do? You can learn about that in Hire Fresno State. So you want to use your minutes or your time with them to maybe ask more deeper questions like, what kind of opportunities are you recruiting for, in these upcoming months? I see that you are recruiting for internships. What kind of projects do your interns get to do? Some of that information is not on Hire Fresno State. This is your perfect time to pick their brain too. Ask them about what skills or experiences they help students, stand out in their resumes, or what type of experiences or skills they're looking for in their new interns, or what kind of advice they have for you to become more competitive as an applicant. Now they may share with you some great insight that maybe you apply. If you submit a resume to them and they call you for an interview, now you know what things you should be aiming for. If you're a freshman or sophomore and you're beginning to explore these type of opportunities or events, great to ask them, hey, I'm a freshman, I'm a sophomore. What advice do you have for me to, when I am able to apply to your opportunities, I stand out as an applicant? And once again, you're going to hear directly from the recruiters what they want, or ask them what are things that you don't want to see on a resume, and hear from them what are their pet peeves, what irritates them when they get resumes. And maybe it's a chance for you to maybe not hand out a resume right there and then. If you have those things on your resume, you want to clean it up and then email it to them. So this is a great chance for interacting with them, not just learn about the company, but learn more about the positions and the projects that you get to do as an intern or as an employee for them. Follow through. After your conversation, I encourage you, they should have a business card, or if not, they have some type of handout with information on how to go about applying for their opportunities or how to contact them for further questions. If it's a company that you made good connection with the recruiter and you do get a business card, it is always advisable to follow up with an email. Now, should you email them right after the event? I would recommend at least wait a day and reflect on the companies that you spoke to, which ones would be your top priority, and go ahead and contact those first, and try to recall some of the things you discussed with them and highlight those in your message. If you need some help with that, feel free to swing by and I can give you some feedback on your messages to the companies. And always try to leave a good impression as you're finalizing your conversations. Show gratitude and say thank you for their time, for their advice, or for the information they shared with you. It doesn't cost you anything to say pleasure meeting you, or I appreciate your time and your advice. Just show that appreciation for them, and that can help them remember your name and show that you do have that professionalism going for you. So always try to do that in person. It is a no handshake event, so you can wave if they feel comfortable with a fist bump, or just show that gratitude by verbally saying it. And your email, please check your grammar, please check your spelling and your English on the message that you're going to send, because that is a representation of your communication skills, your writing ability, right? So make sure you send something that doesn't have typos or things are not worded professionally. If you have questions, you can always swing by the Career Center. We are open 8 to 5. We have student assistants that are trained to give you feedback on general things like some resume feedback. We have the clothing closet available. You can come in person. You can also visit us virtually. We have a career cafe, and we have students most of the time available 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. That's when we have a few of them available. And that way, if you don't want to make your way directly in person to the Career Center, we can still help you virtually. And like I mentioned a few times, I am available Fridays, 1 to 4 p.m. East Engineering 356. And there's my email in there as well. So with that being said, that's all I had for you. Just want to keep it brief and some pragmatic advice and practical advice here on how to help you prepare for the events next week. But at this moment, I'd like to open it up for Q&A if there's any questions.
Yes, students, feel free to just turn on your mic, or you can submit questions on the chat. Okay.
And at this point, I'm going to stop sharing screen. Okay, Hernan?
Yeah. Anyone have any questions?
Hello. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I think Luis.
Go ahead, Luis.
Let's go Luis first, and then Michael.
Okay.
I have a quick question, Daniel. Would it be okay tomorrow if we could maybe set up a Zoom session for the resume review instead of in person? I'm in Bakersfield right now.
Gotcha.
Be beneficial.
Yeah. So I'm currently fully booked. The events. Yeah. So what I would say, I think the easiest way, if you want to get some feedback in your resume specifically, would be to check out. I'm going to drop the Career Cafe link in the chat and have one of our staff members give you some feedback via Zoom. That way you don't have to drive all the way over here.
Okay.
And for any other student in the presentation, I think tomorrow you can catch me without any conflicts on my schedule. 1 to 4, I'll be there. And if you want to stop by, I'll give you some quick feedback too. But Luis, I'm going to drop that link, and you can check out the Career Cafe from 9 to 3 p.m. tomorrow. Does that time work for you?
Yeah, that works. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. I believe Michael had a question.
Yeah, Michael, go ahead.
Yeah, I was actually down over there at the closet and over there getting help with my resume earlier a little bit. So
all right.
They do have a lot of clothes in there, just letting everyone know.
We have a ton.
I grabbed a belt, so I found a belt in there at least. So I went and picked it up. So, nice. But my question is I have a another job opportunity coming up, and I do have like an older resume that I need to update from when I last did it, when I transferred over from City College. And I just recently found out this job opportunity, but I know it's closing by like October 4th. Is there anyone that I can talk to, like, to help update my resume, like more, because this one is for like an electrical position, but for an instructor, like over at City College.
Gotcha,
So it's a little bit different, you know? And so I know I have a resume for like labor, general labor, like an electrical field, but not something for like an instructor position. And that's what I was kind of wondering, if someone can kind of point me in the right direction on maybe how to type one of those up real quick.
Yeah, so let's do this, Michael. Shoot me an email and kind of give me the context, and I might be able to just to, you know, give you some feedback. As far as like counselors being available, you said the 4th, right? That's like Monday. I might give you some general feedback via email, but I think, you know, we're cutting a little close on a session. But you know, at least I can give you some pointers via email. Okay.
Yeah, I just found out about it like 2 days ago, so I was like,
I know. Yeah,
but
and that's kind of one of those things where you always want to have your resume ready, right, guys? So don't wait till an opportunity comes. Have it always updated, and for questions like that, I'll give you some pointers, Michael. I have some ideas on kind of.
Okay, so just go ahead and give you an email.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop my email real quick.
Okay.
And just type the word, you know, urgent in the subject line. That way I know it's coming from you.
So there's several questions on the chat, Daniel. If you want to
see. Is it acceptable? Here's a question. Is it acceptable to inquire about full-time positions starting spring 2022, even if I have a semester left, only 2 classes? That would be a question. I think it would be appropriate if you ask the recruiters and tell them kind of what your situation is. I think maybe they may be flexible with that, or they may, you know, avoid you an uncomfortable conversation in an interview if you disclose, hey, by the way, I'm a student, and now I can't fully commit 40 plus hours to a job. So I think that's a conversation to have. That's why the recruiters are there, and you can pick their brain at the career fair rather than calling them, and see what they tell you. They're flexible, or maybe they recommend, hey, maybe don't apply for a full-time job with us, but we have some part-time or internships that you may want to check out before you try to commit to a full-time job when you still have some school responsibilities. Because ultimately, you don't want to overcommit yourself, at least in my opinion, where it may hinder your academic performance and, you know, with your classes and responsibilities in school. But I don't know if you want to chime in, Hernan.
Yes, I wanted to say that. So it's absolutely fine. You know, a lot of the companies are looking to fill positions, full-time positions now for the time you graduate in May. So it's absolutely fine to inquire about full-time positions. Companies have a very good understanding that, I mean, a lot of them are full-time recruiters. They've been doing this for a while. They know how the university works, you know. And so they know that they're going to fill positions. They're going to start, you know, setting aside jobs for, you know, soon to be graduates, for graduates in spring 2022. So that's absolutely fine. A lot of them will be looking to fill full-time positions, you know, for students that are graduating in the spring. Some will be looking for some that are graduating this fall. Mm-hmm. Others will be looking for, you know, students that graduate in spring 2022. So absolutely acceptable. Just have that conversation. Very important to be, you know, honest and to be have full disclosure about when you're planning to graduate.
Yeah, and that should, you know, be clearly stated in your resume too. On your education section for your bachelor's degree or master's degree, put expected and put the date, the month and the year when you're looking to graduate. That helps the recruiters know your timeline, right? So be honest with them, and that way you find out but this opportunity is fit with you. I see another question. When dressing up for the event, I was looking forward to wear a jacket and jeans. Would it be best to wear slacks instead of jeans? I would encourage you to wear slacks or khakis. Yeah, you're making a first impression, and maybe one of the companies a little more relaxed on attire, but maybe there's some that are more, you know, uptight, or, you know, expect you would have a better impression if you wear slacks. So I would say give yourself the best possibility and just wear slacks, or if you have a matching suit, or if you don't have a matching suit, maybe come to the career clothing closet, and maybe you'll find something. So yeah, always dress your best for these type of events. You never know who's there.
Yes, and I know that many of us, are familiar with folks. When you've done an internship, you're familiar that in the engineering and construction management industry, the dress is very relaxed. Out in industry, it's very casual, it's relaxed. There's a lot of field work involved, but this is a career fair, and just like Daniel said, you want to make the best impression possible. So yes, once you get the job, you can be as casual as you as you want. But to get that job, you want to make the best possible impression.
I agree.
What's up?
Yeah, so that goes to if you have a kind of colorful tie or colorful shirt or clothing that may not look as professional. Keep that in mind. This is your first time in front of them, right? So you want to keep it professional. So let's see another one. Thank you for the advice. Yeah, you're welcome. Definitely, we're here to help you guys. Good to know. Thank you guys. You're welcome. How important is LinkedIn? Okay, question on LinkedIn. Very important. I'm going to drop a web page that we developed here in the Career Center with some instructional quick videos to get you started. It has a lengthier one on how to really make it strong. And besides being like some students call it like a resume without pages, right? So you can put all your experience, your education projects, and your profile, right? Besides being a place where you can house a lot of this information, it's a great place to look for jobs and internships, and also for recruiters to find you. And don't be surprised if you become an active LinkedIn user that recruiters may tap you and then they share opportunities, or you start developing a professional network. And so we have a ton of alumni out in industry, especially in the engineering majors, that live in the area or that live elsewhere. So if you share information about, hey, looking for an internship, maybe some folks in your network or folks that are within their networks can share opportunities with you. I know Hernan shares a ton of internships, full-time jobs, announcements that come his way, and sometimes he doesn't have a chance to blast emails out to everybody. So he shares that in his postings. I share things like that on my postings. So LinkedIn is a great place to not only look for employment or internships, but to build your network. So I think that's one of the most valuable things about LinkedIn, and you'll find opportunities that without even looking sometimes. So I'm going to drop that link in a second. And if everybody in here in the presentation, if you don't have a LinkedIn yet, I encourage you to create one as soon as possible, especially maybe before the career fair, because some recruiters, if they like you, they're going to try to look you up on LinkedIn and see what other information they can find out about you through your profile. So I just dropped a link in there. Feel free to make your way. And if you need feedback or some help building your profile, come check me out Fridays, or shoot me an email to try to set up an appointment. Just, timeline probably won't get to you before the career fairs, but this is something that's, that's always evolving. You can always work on your profile. Okay, see one other question. Yes, and back to the LinkedIn, should you put your LinkedIn URL if it's not updated? I would say update it first and then include it to your resume. That way they get a little more out of it. I'm a fall 21 student, first semester, graduate student attending this meeting. Which semesters of the F4 start applying for internships? So applying for internships as a master's student is as soon as possible. So I encourage you to go. And then I want to know the difference between CPT and internship. So questions on CPT or OPT, some of these processes that if you're an international student, my best advice is to connect with the international office. They have a few workshops every semester to understand the process, how to apply, how to get the ball rolling on these permits. So I would say attend those as soon as possible so you become more knowledgeable. And these could be questions that you ask the recruiters as well. If they have CPT internships or they offer OPT employment or sponsorships for positions. And that way you can learn from them about what opportunities they have related to these opportunities. Yeah. Anything you want to add, Hernan?
Yes, I did want to add that, that's great advice to check with the Office for International Studies, international students. Best thing that you can do as an international student is to start working on campus, get your work permit. by obtaining a job, a part-time job on campus. As a graduate student, you can always be a teaching assistant, you could be a grader, you can do some research, and that allows you to get your initial work permit, and that's really your work permit and a social security card are the first steps to being able to work in this country as an international student. So, and the easiest way to do that is by obtaining a job on campus. So I encourage you to look for a job on campus first, and then you can start spreading your wings outside of the university, looking at internships with companies. Okay, but try to get that paperwork done by obtaining a job on campus first.
Yeah, and on that same topic, Higher Fresno State itself, it's a job board besides having the information on the career fairs. And in there you can, if you need help, let me show you that real quick. But if you need more individual help, that's something I can help you with. But for illustration purposes here, once you get into Higher Fresno State, there's a feature called Job Search. Click Job Search again, and there's a few categories you can explore. One of them being on-campus jobs. And I believe currently we have 26 current openings, and some of them were posted as of this week. So, check out these opportunities. Some of them I've seen kind of related to some tech services. Some of them were at the library, some of them are different offices or programs. And I believe there is one for the mechanical engineering department. So, great opportunity to work within your department or one of the engineering departments. So yeah, explore the requirements, classifications they're looking for. And if you find something you like, give it a shot and apply for it. You're welcome. All right. Any other questions before we conclude?
Yeah. Anything else? Anything else that you want to know about the upcoming career fair or anything else related to career readiness? This is a great opportunity again.
I don't know if this would apply to this discussion, but let's say you apply to multiple companies and you have like a couple of offers between them, but you don't want to accept an offer because you want to see if you get a better offer from elsewhere. How do you go about that without making it seem like you're not interested, so like they don't replace you? Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. How do you wait to see the full menu right before you order? Yeah. So my advice, kind of working with students through these situations, is when you do get that initial offer from the first company, I think it is completely okay and professional for you to ask what is the timeline you have to make a decision. I think asking or posing the question in that way makes it seem that you are considering a few things, but you're not mentioning, hey, I'm waiting for other companies to tell me if they're going to hire me because you're not my top choice. So I think posting it that way and hearing from them what is their realistic timeline to fill their need and their position, it's a good way to approach it. But ultimately, it's up to you. If some companies, you can also reach out to the other companies to see their timeline when they're going to make a decision on the role or the interview that you had. And sometimes timelines don't align perfectly and you have to make a decision. So I don't think there's like a best advice to fit every situation, but that's what I've seen students do. And ultimately, you have to make a choice whether you pass on that or you wait for something else.
Okay.
Yeah, what I don't recommend, just to be transparent, is that you take a position and you begin getting hired, then you hear from another one, and then you tell, hey, never mind, I found something else. And it may come to that. Just know that you probably won't be considered for another job for that previous company in the future. So to hire people, it's a lengthy process. So, keep that in mind. And ultimately, if the new company is where you see yourself, your career taking off, just know that, sometimes you kind of burn a bridge if you cancel on something you already said yes, right? So if you want to have a one-on-one, we can chat about that and kind of see what your long-term career plan is and what kind of opportunities may be the best for you. I know sometimes Hernan has some availability in his office where if you need to pop in, and or your professors are a great resource because they may have some insight on the companies, how other students have moved up and in that company, or kind of what's out there. That some things you don't think about, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Feel free to stop by as well.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, but that's a good problem to have. I'll tell you that. Having problems choosing which job to take, that's a good problem. All right. Well, Hernan, what I'm doing my part is I'll email you that cleaned up version of the spreadsheet. Feel free to share it with these students for attending.
Absolutely.
And students go into Higher Fresno State, sign up for the event. That alone gets you into a raffle. And if you do attend the career fairs, that enters your name into the raffle a few more times. And hey, who doesn't want $200 from Macy's to up your wardrobe?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Please do so. Please make sure you attend the career fair next week. And thank you, Daniel. Thank you for this great information once again. Thank you for being with us this afternoon. And thank you all to all the students that joined us as well. All right. And we look forward to seeing you at the career fair next week, all dressed up, sharing resumes. Okay.
All right. Well, thanks everybody. Have a good one.
Thank you. All right. Have a good afternoon, everyone. Good evening.
Thank you again.